AITA for making my mom cry after she asked me if I was gay. I am not gay. I'm not ace or bi. I'm straight. I just want to make that clear before people suggest I might be anything other than heterosexual. And obviously nothing's wrong with being gay, but I'm not. Despite this, I haven't ever really been in a relationship or dated. I struggle a lot with women, so it's not much a surprise to me, but it is to my family. My brothers both are in relationships. My oldest was already dating his wife when he was my age. My other older brother has never had issues finding women to like him. The difference is that I'm a lot less physically attractive than they are, and I'm more introverted as a result of bullying throughout my entire life because of that. I have been told I'm ugly throughout my entire life, even by random people in passing. I've come to some level of peace with it so around. My family are constantly asking why I don't date, and I always avoid just outright saying I'm ugly and girls don't like me. One of the biggest suspicions they have about me is that I'm gay. I don't know why, but since I've never dated in high school, that was always a question. I moved back in with my parents after graduating. I'm planning on moving out soon, but my job in a different area isn't letting me start until November, so I'm working a different job until then and saving money. I haven't done much since graduation other than work, and my parents are upset that I don't have a social life right now. So my mom sat me down and tried to have a heart-to-heart with me about my situation. She told me that she feels like I'm not making the most out of my life and said that she thinks that I'm afraid to be myself around them and that's stifling my ability to live. She said that she really wants me to be happy and find friends and a partner. Then she said that it didn't matter which gender that the partner was as long as I was happy. This came across as an accusation of me being gay. I asked what she meant by that, and she said that she wants me to know that if I live a different lifestyle by myself, I don't have to hide it. And she'd be happy as long as I brought someone home who I loved and who loved me. Again, she's calling me gay. So I shut that down. I kinda snapped as I'm so tired of it. I snapped at her that I'm not gay and that I don't need her to monitor everything in my life. I said that it's none of her business why I'm single, but if she really cares that much, it's because I'm too ugly for women to want to date me, and since there's nothing that can be done about it, she needs to drop it. She got very upset and apologized. That evening, I got a call from my oldest brother demanding I apologize to my mom. He said she was trying to be supportive and I was a huge dick to her. I said she was in the setting for the constant accusations and prying. Am I the asshole? I kinda snapped.
Am I the asshole for not giving my son money to buy his own ticket? I took my 3 kids to the movies with my husband. When we arrived, my oldest, 15, said he wanted to watch a different movie than the rest of the family. I said that was fine, and we would meet him at the ice cream place across the street. His choice would start, and later, we started to split up, and then he said I forgot to give him money for a ticket. I asked why I would give him money for a ticket. He said he needs the money to buy his ticket. I said he could use his own money. He said that wasn't fair because I was going to buy a ticket for him before. I said I was going to buy tickets for the whole family for a family outing. If he's doing his own thing, he needs to pay for it. He said he didn't want to pay and would just watch the same movie as the rest of us. He was grumpy afterwards, and my husband said I was petty. I don't think it's petty, I think it's a life lesson. People are more than piggy banks. Would I be the asshole for canceling my daughter's 16th birthday party after warning her about it a year ago? Throwaway because some people from my extended family use Reddit. English is my 3rd language, so please excuse any mistakes. For my daughter's 15th birthday, my spouse and I paid for her to take some of her friends out to a restaurant for dinner. During this dinner party, my daughter got into an argument with one of her friends, Alison, a 15-year-old girl. Apparently my daughter was upset that this friend gave her a cheap gift bought from a thrift store. According to her best friend, who told us what happened, my daughter seemed to like the gift at first and asked her friend where she bought it from. When the girl admitted it was from a thrift store, that is when my daughter lost it and called her names like cheap, gold digger, or beggar. Translated from my language, it roughly means cheap, and other classist insults. Now it is well known that this friend's family is not well off, but I know that she is a sweet girl who did her best to get my daughter a gift with her meager allowance. My spouse and I confronted our daughter about it and she admitted she insulted her friend. She went on to insult her further by saying things like, "This is probably the only way she gets to eat at a restaurant, so she should be grateful and give a decent gift." I don't know where my daughter learned such entitlement, but she did not learn it at home. Even her best friend was uncomfortable by her behavior. We immediately took away all her gifts and donated them. We also told her that unless she apologizes to this girl in front of everyone who was present at the party, we will not be sponsoring any more of her birthdays. My daughter never apologized, and over time, the girl drifted apart from the friend group. My daughter's 16th birthday is coming up next month and she has started talking about what kind of party she wants. I reminded her of our promise that we would not fund any more birthday parties until she has apologized for her behavior at her previous party. Daughter is saying it's been a year and the girl is no longer her friend anyway. She said her best friend is getting a sweet 16 party, not a thing in my culture, and how will it look if she doesn't get one? We told her she still has a month to apologize, but she is not planning to do it because she thinks we'll cave. My in-laws are offering to pay for her party, but we have forbidden them from doing that. Daughter and both sets of grandparents are telling us that we are being too harsh and ruining her social life. Would I be the asshole if we don't give her a birthday party this year?
Am I the asshole for accepting my dream job despite being explicitly told not to? I, 27, recently got my master's degree in a field that I absolutely love. Like most, I applied to many companies to start my career at prior to graduation. However, there was one company, dream job, that I really wanted. I had my eye on them since completing my undergraduate degree, applied to their internships twice, and even previously applied for a position. This time, they responded and gave me an offer. While I was weighing their offer against others, my classmate Evan texted me. I was shocked because there was some bad blood between us due to a previous argument. Apparently, he heard about my offer from Dream Job and he was not happy. They also gave him an offer, which he already accepted. He accused me of being petty by applying there too and for trying to compete with his career interests. At first, my response was civil. I congratulated and wished him well at Dream Job. I explained that I hadn't accepted yet and was still exploring my options, but that my intent was never to compete or sabotage other people's careers as he was suggesting. I also explained how I honestly did not know he had gotten a position, as we weren't talking at the time. He responded by saying that I was fully aware of his plans to move to the city where Dream Job is located, which was true, and since they were the best company in that city for our job, he obviously applied there. This led to a few back and forth texts between us where I reminded him that I too had previously told him my plans to move there, and even explicitly told him that my goal was to work for Dream Job since undergrad. The only difference was that I wasn't the one trying to get to keep an entire company, or city for that matter. Things got heated until he told me that he didn't think it was a good idea for me to accept the offer due to our history, as it may cause unneeded tension in the workplace. I was royally pissed and part of me wanted to accept the offer out of spite, but another part told me to move on, so I decided to end it with, "Okay, whatever man, I have other offers anyway." When the other offers finally arrived, I was disappointed and underwhelmed. Dream Job's offer was better on every level. I'd be an absolute fool to turn them down for any other offer. And for what? So that I could avoid some guy that didn't like me? After talking with some friends, I decided that it was still in my best interest career-wise to accept the offer, despite the drama. I decided not to inform Evan. After we started, we were assigned to one of 4 teams within the company. Luckily, I got my first choice. It was also Evan's first choice, but he was assigned elsewhere. After that day, he texted me accusing me of sabotaging his career plans, going behind his back by accepting the offer secretly, and pulling strings to get my first choice of teams. His girlfriend and other mutual friends also got involved and sent me texts saying that I was being bitter, petty, and that I should have looked for another job, be the bigger man. So, am I the asshole for accepting?
Am I the asshole for moving my nephew out of the car whilst he was sleeping? I, 26, refuse to leave a child in a car under any circumstances. It's parenting 101. My sister, 30 years old, and her husband, 36 leave their 2-year-old in his car seat for naps, and park the car on the drive with the window cracked, and they come inside. They intend to check on him every 10 minutes or so, but I've seen it go longer. Here's why I think it's especially inappropriate. My nephew has a not-so-uncommon condition. When he cries, he can't catch his breath. Doctors assured us it's not life-threatening, but we all find it very alarming and scary because he holds his breath until he fully passes out, blue in the face, comes around very upset and frightened. I arrived at our mom's house and saw my nephew sleeping in the car alone. I went inside, asked what time he fell asleep, and was told they went for a drive about half an hour ago, and he fell asleep, so up to half an hour he was there. This isn't the first time he's been left in the car, and my sister was pregnant and stressed, so the last thing anyone wanted to do was wake up her clingy toddler to add to her plate. Now that she's had her youngest baby, he's 2 weeks old, and the support network is more in check, there's no reason I can see to continue this risky behavior, leaving him in the car. So when I had confirmation that he had been there a while and no one had any intention of bringing him in, I grabbed her keys and retrieved him. I was gentle and kept him asleep, put him down in his stroller in the kitchen, and comforted him until he settled down again. I was met with an overreaction, in my opinion. Why did you move him? He's perfectly safe there, really telling me off. My reaction was a bit petty to list off all the scary and devastating things that could go wrong. Family is generally in agreement with me when I tell my side, but I feel no one wants to publicly agree and upset my sister. I might be the asshole because I acted on impulse and didn't discuss moving him. Update. Thank you for all your responses. I'm going to start taking pictures of it. Continues. I've made myself very clear to her that I will be moving him every time I see it, and that he is more than happy to fall asleep without a drive. I sent her the link to this post and she agreed that what I explained in anger is the only acceptable reaction. Am I the asshole for refusing to babysit my nephew and nieces to go on a trip with my twin? I have 3 sisters, Lilith, Carly, and Anna. We all live with our parents. Lilith has 3 kids, Ellis, Ian, Belle, and Natalie, and Carly has 2 kids, Jackson and Elizabeth. They also live with our parents. Carly and Lilith have to share a room with their children, but they do not contribute to anything like food, bills, etc. because neither of them have a job. Lilith and Carly are spoiled. My father always insisted that they get a life, but my mom didn't want to let go of her big babies. My mom is their servant. Recently, because my sisters were arguing with each other so much, my father suggested a trip away from each other. Lilith and Carly were going with their friends, and I was going with Anna because Lilith and Carly are the closest to each other, same with me and Anna. It was already agreed that Lilith and Carly were paying for the babysitters for their kids, but when the price came up, they immediately said that they were not paying. It was a normal price for one person to babysit 5 kids for an entire week. During dinner that night, Lilith mentioned that she thought I should babysit the kids for free because they were my family, and family was free. I asked, "What about my trip with Anna?" She said, "Anna can come with us and you can babysit for the kids." My parents and Anna blew up at Lilith and Carly, how they were adults, and I was not a person at their disposal, and I had my own life. My parents, I think, finally got a reality check. They told Lilith and Carly that if they wanted to keep living in the house, they had to start contributing and paying their fair share. They had 3 days to make up their minds. Carly and Lilith blew up my phone telling me that I was such an asshole for breaking up the family. Am I the asshole? 1. Yes, Carly and Lilith both got pregnant as teens. All 5 kids were an accident. I probably should have made the parenting situation clear. Lilith's kids all have different fathers, but Carly's kids have the same father. Carly's boyfriend is the father of her kids. Our parents saw Carly's boyfriend as a bad person and did not want him around their grandchildren, so they offered to keep them full-time and he agreed. None of Lilith's kids' fathers have their dads in the picture. I have no idea why. 2. Anna is very headstrong and would have definitely not have said yes to babysitting the kids. All throughout childhood, It would seem like she was much older than me because she was always trying to defend me. We would go the ends of earth for each other. 3. Aftermath. Lilith threatened to go homeless with her children and have CPS take my parents' grandchildren away. My parents told her that the children would live with kin and they would offer to take the children. Carly has always been our grandparents' favorite, so she's going to live with them. Am I the asshole for refusing to go to my brother's overflow wedding? My brother had been planning a wedding with his fiancée for a year. My brother and I have never been close because of our age difference, but it's not like we don't get along. They'd been dating for a few years, and his fiancée wanted to have this giant wedding with all of our family and hers plus friends plus ones, etc. But they really couldn't afford it. They finally agreed to have this wedding at a venue that is somewhat small and they can afford it, but it does not allow more than 100 people in it at a time. I guess her and her parents were mad about this because more than 100 people just in her family friend list needed to be invited and their plus ones. So they made a compromise where some guests would be a part of the 100. And the rest of the guests would be in the overflow wedding, so they would still be invited but wouldn't mess up this limit the venue has. The guests in that overflow room would watch the ceremony on a live stream video projected into this movie theater nearby the venue that they would rent out. I guess renting out a room in a theater is cheaper, I don't know. Apparently her list is the most important. So I was invited to the overflow wedding. I was pissed about this, and I asked him what this was about when we were at my dad's birthday party 2 weeks after I got the invite. He said it was fine because I could go to the reception. I told him that it was the principal. I am his immediate family, so I should be able to go to the normal venue. He told me that he needs to make her family happy, and that I should understand. Then he said we're not that close of family anyway, and that she needs to be happy on her wedding. So basically, I told him that I will not be attending the wedding, and that I should get to go to the main ceremony. He got mad at me, and we were fighting. Multiple people at the party yelled at me for making a scene and that it is her day, and I should be grateful for even getting to go to the overflow wedding. So am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for kicking everyone out of my party? My wife has been depressed lately, losing her well-paying job in November of last year. Her unemployment ran out and she's now an assistant manager at a fast food place. She had a 3-phase interview for a job last week and didn't get picked at the end of it after almost a 2-month process. We decided to go through and host our 4th of July barbecue and pool party. My brother is a jackass and my parents enable him. My wife and I has her degree on our living room wall. My brother told her, "You might as well shred that experience piece of paper because it's doing you no good." My wife started crying, and that's extremely out of character for her. She goes to the bedroom and locks herself in. My brother said it's a joke, but I had enough and told everyone to go effing home. The party is cancelled. My parents started arguing, saying some people drove a few hours to be here, and I said have the party at your place. I told everyone to grab whatever you came with and leave. It was about 20 to 25 people, and my mom said I'm an awful host and an embarrassment to my family, and I said the same thing about my brother. He started it. So I made everything leave. I'm getting mixed text messages about either checking in on my wife or being asshole after kicking everyone out over one little comment my brother made.
Am I the asshole for telling my cleaner she can't bring her son with her after she only gave me 20 minutes notice? Hey, so, this is one of those situations where I can't really see much wrong with what I did, but hoping some of you guys can educate me in case I didn't approach the situation correctly. We have had, I guess, a great cleaner, the best cleaner we've ever had. She's been coming to our apartment for roughly 3 months, once a week for 5 hours. She does her work. We pay her, and she leaves. Very few discussions. She likes to listen to her music whilst working. And my girlfriend and I work from home, so we are on calls or busy in general the whole day. Last week, 20 minutes before she was meant to arrive at ours, she sent me a text message saying her sitter canceled at the last minute, and that she would be coming with her son. She didn't ask if she could, she just said coming with him. Our apartment isn't very large. It's open plan, with only one office space. I usually work from the living room, and my girlfriend from the office area, switching around depending on where the cleaner is currently cleaning. So, I replied to her mentioning that we had a lot of calls that day, that there was not any way her son could come with her on such short notice, and that I understood her situation. Her son finished school last week, not sure if primary school or just a certain grade, but she was happy about it the week prior and told that she's looking to spend more time together with her son over the summer. So I responded to her saying I am more than happy for her to take these 5 hours and spend them with her son, and that I would obviously still pay her for her time. That it's a treat for her son to celebrate finishing school. I was going to give her some extra cash for her son at the end of her shift anyways. She replied saying she didn't want our money, and that she went to another house to clean as it's otherwise a waste of her time. I tried to ask her if we are still on for the same time next week, and that from the following week I could organize the home a bit better so that if she ever needed to bring her son again, he could come with no issues. I could move my calls to another day so I could work from the bed, or find some other ways of arranging our workspace. She didn't respond for a few days, and then when I went to message her just now to confirm if she can come, she responded saying that she's sorry but she won't return to work for us. So, I'm looking for any way in which I could have come across as an asshole which would explain her not wanting to return to work for us. Some thoughts I had were: 1. She felt like a charity case because I wanted to pay her without letting her work. 2. She didn't like being told no to. 3. She misunderstood something I said completely. Update 1. My verdict so far is that it was a misunderstanding. That either I didn't make myself clear enough that I can make it work from the following week, or she misunderstood when I said that and decided it wasn't worth the uncertainty long term. Am I the asshole for refusing to change how I talk? For context, I'm Chinese. If you're East Asian or know anyone from there, you're probably familiar with the expression, AITA. Similar to how people would say Jesus Christ in Western culture if something surprising happens, or if you're disappointed with something is another example. I work in a cafe. I've been doing this for a few years now and know the shop and procedures inside out. I'm in charge with training new baristas and teaching them the things we do for health and safety and how to keep the cafe running efficiently. There's someone new who I'm in charge of training up, Elisa, 19. I don't want to be harsh, but she isn't good at the job. Nothing has stuck in her brain. Everything I tell her seems to go in one ear and out the other. She has a review in a few weeks, and I'm 99% sure she's going to fail. Today on the job, she lowered the milk jug from under the steam wand when the wand wasn't turned off and hot milk went everywhere. She screamed. I turned and saw it, which is when I exclaimed "Aya" out of shock and turned it off because she was frozen. This is day one stuff when we teach newbies how to use the espresso machine safely. Luckily, neither of us were burned and it was just a blip. After our shift, Elisa asked what I meant when I said "Aya," so I told her. I was surprised about what happened and I thought she would have remembered to turn the steam wand off because it's not exactly quiet. She asked me why I couldn't say something else because Aya felt like I was using my own language to insult her knowing she doesn't speak it. I told her that it was just how I talk given I am Chinese and that she's being ridiculous, and it was lucky that I was around to turn the steam wand off because she was too scared to do it. She did not press further, but then our boss messaged me later saying that Elisa felt uncomfortable on the shift today and I was asked to refrain from speaking in my language on the job. I refused and explained my view that for Elisa to say that to me felt like she was being discriminatory, and now both Elisa and I have to come into work earlier to sort this out with our boss. Am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for refusing to pay for my daughter's wedding because she won't let me walk her down the aisle? I'm a 48-year-old man and my 19-year-old daughter has always been an independent thinker. I raised her to be independent and think for herself, which I've always appreciated. However, we recently hit a bit of a snag. She got engaged and decided that she doesn't want me to walk her down the aisle at her wedding. She argues that her mother and I don't own her, therefore we have no right to give her away. I feel hurt by this because we never treated her like an object or piece of property. Rather, we've tried our best to provide her with a wonderful life. Her stance seems extreme to me, and despite discussions, she's refusing to budge on the issue. I respect her choices, but I feel she's disregarding our feelings completely. As a response, I told her that if she feels that way, then I won't be paying for her wedding. I don't want to come across as controlling or manipulative. It's true, I don't own her. I also don't owe her a fully funded wedding. She can pay for her own wedding if she's insistent on this stance. I'm feeling quite conflicted about this. Am I the asshole? Edit. So, this isn't about making the wedding about me, walking her down the aisle while all eyes are on her anyway, and then sitting down is hardly making the wedding about me. It's about her attitude. She's had every opportunity in life so far, and to exclude us from this day is a spit in the face. It's a rejection of everything we've done for her, sacrificed for her, given her. It's selfish. 90% of wedding traditions and symbolism had roots in things we don't acknowledge today. Should we stop all of them? The rings, the flowers, the dress, the wedding party, the cake, the flower girls. A father walking his daughter down the aisle has been about respect, pride, love, and honoring the father-daughter relationship for far longer than it was about ownership. Independent thinking does not mean rude or selfish thinking. Being an independent thinker does not give someone the license to disregard or disrespect the thoughts, feelings, or perspectives of others. Independent thinking is about maintaining the ability to think critically and form one's own opinions while remaining respectful and considerate of others. It is a balance between asserting individuality and engaging in meaningful and respectful interactions with others. Edit 2. Also note that our relationship is not so weak that this disagreement will ruin our relationship. We are still close with each other in spite of this. There is zero chance of her not inviting us to her wedding, regardless of who pays for it, or cutting off contact and withholding grandchildren. I feel sorry for anyone who suggests that as a possibility. In life, people disagree, even strongly. It's a natural part of life. We don't end lifelong relationships over it. Update: for all the WIBTA people out there, I've decided to give my daughter a gift in the same amount as her older sister's wedding cost. She can use this for whatever she wants. For the AITA people out there, thanks, most of you get it. My daughter has also agreed to figure out a way to include us in a way that doesn't involve giving her away. We are still in the early wedding planning stages, and she is almost 20. So she will likely be 21 before the actual marriage. Thanks for the concern, I guess. I approve of the groom-to-be if that matters to anyone. We disagree, but that doesn't mean it's a relationship-ending event. My daughter is laughing hilariously at all of you that are saying she will disinvite us from the wedding or cut us off from grandkids. I just feel sorry for you all. That is petty and manipulative, and regardless of what you all say, I've raised her better than that.
Am I the asshole for questioning why my husband wasn't invited to my cousin's party? I am a white American. My husband Tom of 8+ years is a black man from Zimbabwe. We met while students in the Netherlands. Weirdly, no one has ever been unkind about us being an interracial couple, at least not to my face. So I wonder if I am overreaching into this situation because I have never faced this. My older cousin Jim's son Alex is graduated from high school in May. I grew up next door to Jim and his siblings, and we are all very close. Jim initially told me that Alex did not want to have a big graduation party, but if I wanted to stop by quickly on the Saturday after the graduation, I was welcome to do so. He asked 3 or 4 times if Tom would be coming and was very insistent that it was not necessary. Tom has a big project pending at work, so I figured he didn't need to come with for me to drop off a check and a card. So the whole thing did seem weird. Well, I arrive at Jim's house to find a full-on party underway. I was incredibly shocked, and when I asked my aunt, Jim's mom, what was going on, she said that the party had been planned for months and that's why we were all invited over. I told her what Jim had told me, and she looked a bit sheepish and said, "Oh, that probably because Sarah's family is here." Sarah is Jim's wife. I don't know her family well and haven't really seen them since Jim and Sarah's wedding when I was a teenager. Anyway, regardless of any explanation, I left without saying goodbye or leaving the card and check on the gift table. This will be important later. Jim called me the next day asking where I had gone. I told him I was shocked that there was a party when I was explicitly told there would be no party and this not to bring my husband. Jim started to cry, which is weird and out of character, and told me that Sarah's family is very old-fashioned and would disapprove of an interracial couple. They didn't want to cause a scene on Alex's big day, but they wanted me there, so they came up with a half-truth to keep Tom from coming. I was, to say the least, speechless. I just hung up the phone. Later, my mom called to say she hadn't known about the whole plan to keep Tom away, but she had spoken to her sister, my aunt, who was very hurt that I hadn't left Alex his gift. My mom said I am the asshole for punishing Alex for what his parents did and I should give him the check I was planning on giving him. Frankly, I don't want anything to do with any of them right now, but I worry I am being unfair to Alex. So Reddit, what say you?
Thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, or maybe tell me what do you think about it. Have a good day. Goodbye, and see ya.